Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Satisfactory Plus, the mod that really changes the game. Now, for those that have not watched the series thus far, I want to go through a quick recap of what has happened and how this mod actually works. First things first, we get some brand new miners and some brand new ore. Say hello to Stereotype, which looks very sharp, but also looks a little bit wet. This ore then gets processed in a brand new machine called the Crusher, which seems like a wrestling name but is not. And what does it do? It crushes everything into a crushed version of itself, as well as giving us stone. Rock and stone. Then once it's crushed, it actually goes into a beautiful smelter and we make a sloppy recipe. So crushed stereotype turns into iron ingot. And of course, we use iron ingots for everything in the base game. But that's not all. We are also introduced to two brand new items. We have this lovely square broccoli and some red rock. So, you know, we got all the goodies. Now each one does have its own crush variant, and of course each variant goes into the same thing. But that being said, some of them actually change into some unique things. We have crushed rubite that makes tin of all things. And of course it's very, very sloppy. And the beautiful square broccoli is now into copper ingots. So now we have copper, tin, and iron. So what are we going to do with something like that? Well, of course, nothing other than production. That's right. We take our beautiful iron ingots, our copper ingots, and our... I don't know, why do they look like a chocolate bar? And we put them in the constructors. And each constructor takes these stuff and turns it into beautiful, beautiful items. Just way too many of them. Why, just in tier 1 and 2, we have several brand new items flooding the market, giving us a bunch of BS that we need to take care of. And yes, it doesn't end there. Because boy howdy, you get a brand new machine after all the fun and have to rework your stuff. Say hello to the sorter. That is really just a huge pain in the butt. I mean, just check out this wonderful recipe. Now you're just taking all this crushed rubite, and you're making crushed tin, crushed lead, and crushed stone. You're basically taking in one item, and instead of making the sloppy ingots, you're producing even more stone, because God knows we need more stone in our lives. Now, once you have even more different types of ingots to play with, it's time to make even more different items. Now, granted, you're not out of tier 2 just yet, because there's another thing you get to have fun with. Say hello to the chocolatey goodness of the Dove Bar. That's right, we now have bronze. Another ingot to throw into the mix that's made by mixing in a couple different items. But at least you get the fun of using the wonderful foundry. Who knew this was going to be such a wonderful, fun experience? Who also knew that this is still only tier 2 and you're up to like 7 ingots? Wow! And even more stone. Now remember, kids, once you've realized that you have a ton more items to build, you're going to have to figure out power, because that's a little different as well. Sure, we now have access to brand new things like wind turbines, but also we get to pull up slime from the ground to turn it into none other than biomass. And then we get to process that biomass into solid biofuel, but luckily for us, we have automated biomass burners. That's right, we get to throw it on a conveyor belt and just let the power commence. Or if you're feeling really sassy, you can put it into this wonderful burner. The burner burns up water. What happens to that water once it's burned? It turns into steam. And that steam goes into a turbine. And that turbine powers the world. But of course, it gives us CO2 as well as excess cool steam. Now, obviously, you can't heat that steam up again. So you gotta just shove it into the environment and hope that we won't cause global warming. Or maybe we should hope we cause global warming. I don't know. It's an alien planet and I don't really care about it. So why not? But hey, you've been working hard, so I think it's time for a break before you finish all that wonderful smart planing. How about you play in the dirt? That's right, we have side projects now, like farming, where we really dig up the dirt from the ground and we turn it into seeds. So say hello to our wonderful seed extractor that gives us things like cotton, mycelia, corn, potatoes, and that oh so wonderful carrot. That's right, we're going to go in there and we're going to figure out what we need to make a farm. And then, of course, once you get the wonderful seeds, you can actually build a farming station where you chuck some seeds in there, maybe a little bit of automation, and that's right, you're a farmer now. Hooray! But what's this wonderful food used for? I'm not glad you asked, but I will tell you anyway. All this food goes into this wonderful machine over here, which makes us snail food, which is kind of funny because we're going to feed it to the slugs. Yes, you can actually farm slugs. You can incubate them and you can get them going. But you got to make sure you give them the right food and give them the right conditions because they're temperamental. But once you get the slug farm going, it is going to give you tons of slugs. Unfortunately, they're not used like the base game where you can turn them into, what are they called, power shards? Well, they are, but it takes a lot more than just a basic slug to do that. So, once you manipulated the environment to your very liking, utilizing all the different things that we've talked about thus far, you can make yourself the most beautiful, the most compact, the greatest of starter bases. That's right. All of this you see before you is just enough for Tier 1, Tier 2, and a little bit of the side projects. And glory be everything we've built so far. But there's one more element I want to show you of what's involved. Because of last, we have another new item added into the fun. Say hello to the cheesy broccoli. This lovely little thing is going to give us Caterium. Now, like everything else in this brand new setup, we're going to throw it in this beautiful, wonderful crusher. And that's going to get us crushed cheesy broccoli. Then we have a beautiful sorter, and that's going to sort us into some more crushed stone. Because you can never have enough crushed stone. Then, once you've crushed your life away, every one of these brand new material is all going to go into the wonderful smelter. And we're going to make even more ingots. That's right, we're upping the amount of ingots we're at because why not? And praise be the production as we finalize everything we get. We now have a whopping 36 different items to use, and we're still at Tier 2. Welcome to Satisfactory Plus. Plus bullshit. That has got to be the full name for this. Lordy. But alas, we were finally into Phase 2. We were into Tier 3, and it's time to learn a brand new production. And boy, was it mentally challenging. Alright, and welcome to our brand new production line. This right here is going to give us a modest amount of steel and brass. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 more elements thrown into the mix, and some brand new machines. Take a look at our brand new flexible blast furnace. That's right, this puppy right here produces us molten metals. Then, of course, if that wasn't enough, we have a solidifier, or whatever the hell this thing is called. That's right, with 3 sideways inputs, outputs, or whatever the hell this is called. This little puppy over here takes all that molten metal and turns it into stuff that we can use. Like steel ingots, brass ingots, and steel rods. But it needs a little bit of air. And of course, the brand new machine that takes air out of the ground, or air, or wherever it comes from, is also a lovely addition to the massive amount of cornucopia of bullshit that we've been dealing with. But that's just one more step into some advanced part making, because now that we have steel, and now that we have brass, we can make even more complicated parts. Hooray! Complications! Just what I need. But, ladies and gentlemen, mid-tier problems mean mid-tier bases. That's right, we needed to expand the amount of space that we needed to go into that next step to get phase 2 accomplished. But, luckily, with the allotted amount of coal, we were able to increase our power exponentially. And with all the new items, we were able to increase the amount of crap we needed to make exponentially, thus decreasing my mental health. But increasing fun. Now, it was at this moment where I decided that I needed a mental health day and decided to get the F out of Dodge. So, I decided to build myself an Explorer and take a look at the wonderful map that we have below us, or beyond us, or whatever, and then decided to go hard drive hunting, killing everything in my waking path because it deserved it. Especially you, Mr. Bean. I do not want you in my base. Yeah, that'll teach you to exist. But with 30 so hard drives in hand, I was able to then scour the landscape and destroy even more things. Because yes, with all this wonderful stuff, I needed a lot. That's right, I needed a lot of material. And some good material at that, before I could make my base into a reality. Because although I was able to build a bunch of things, it still needed material. So, say hello to all my conveyor belts of bullshit. That's right, I got all the favorites. I got the crushed red, the crushed blue, the crushed broccoli. I got some wonderful coal. I got some marshmallows, apparently. I got everything I need, and I'm bringing it right into my base. So I can make about, I think we're up to like 10 or 12 different ingots. And mind you, each and every one of these floors has been handcrafted to perfection. To be unwalkable, unmovable, and compact as all hell. Because although I'm building all these wonderful brand new resources in this bullshit of a mess, I still need to figure out how I can minimize the space because it's just so much. See, when you actually get into it and realize all the amount of parts that are in this mod, just in the early game, just in the mid game, and just in the late game, it really takes building to a whole nother level. And of course, it just gets that much better when you try to organize it all into wonderful bins, but you want to also take some things and push them off to the side so you can make more complicated parts. That's right, the complicated parts just made it so much better. But alas, here is everything in all its glory. Isn't that just beautiful? And by beautiful, I mean mind-crushing. But if you thought I was just gonna stop there, you have no idea how self-sabotaging I am. That's right, because our old base, the original base, we decided to burn it. Take it down, demolish it, and rebuild with something grander. But of course, it's not an actual base. Say hello to some real farming. That's right, this over here produces us everything we could possibly want. Each one of these makes its own individual stuff, so we have stuff like carrots, wheat. What's back here? Say hello to Mr. Potato. Of course, some corn seeds. And then we got flower petals. We got mycelia, we got cotton, and we even got apple seeds. But that's not all. We were even able to get the pumpkin seeds. We were able to get some Yusuf berries and some bananas. That's right, we got the nanners right over here. And of course, what were we going to do with all these? Well, none other than shove them in a bunch of bins. Because it's time for some cooking. Yep, we're cooking up some fun over here now. Say hello to all these wonderful cooking hubs. And what do they make? Well, they make all the wonderful snail food we could possibly want. And we're going to need that snail food because we're breeding more snails. What? You thought there was just 3 snails? Oh, ye of little faith. Welcome to Snail Farming 2.0. That's right. These little puppies over here are just making the base tier of slugs. We have the original 3, of course, but now say hello to the white slug, the lime green slug, and the magenta violet, or whatever the hell this one is over here. And that's just the start, because guess what? We're gonna have to expand this. That is only like tier 3 subs? Tier 3 subs? No, tier 3 slugs. Because unfortunately, with all the base tier of the slugs being made, we need to get into the advanced slug ones if we want to make this really good. Advanced slugs? Advanced slugs? They're slugs! And why aren't these slugs out in the environment? Ugh, what a bunch of fun. Now, of course, we were not going to miss out on the wonderful fun of getting ourselves some lizard doggos. They even made this wonderful lizard doggo pen that we can go into, and they're well protected from the environment as well as ne'er-do-wells. And the best part about it is we get to see all their little buddies in their nice, natural habitat. Who's a good boy? How you doing? Who's your good one? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And the wonderful lizard doggos love their brand new environment. It is full of, well, it's just full of all the amenities, right guys? Now, unfortunately, this wonderful little doggo house takes doggo chow 1 every 30 seconds, as well as having a bunch of different water. And of course, if you don't get enough food, well, let's just say that things don't end very well. That's right. Unfortunately, if you don't have enough doggo chow, your lizard doggos go to sleep. Forever. Alright, we have to hide the evidence. And here's the thing. Lizard doggo chow is not easy to make. 35 per minute, 35 per minute to make 1. Now don't forget your water. You always need water. But of course, at this stage of the game, I was able to get everything for the space elevator and send it up to unlock phase 3, which now needs a bunch of brand new parts that look oh so well. Package hydrochloric acid, that is amazing. And cobalt plates and whatever solder wire is, soldier wire. But that's where we left off on our last episode. That's right. Now we can go in the hub and we can unlock oil. We can unlock fluid and gas energy trucks and industrial manufacturing and much more. So what do you think? Should we keep going? Should I keep forcing it? I mean, 1.0 is right around the corner and I got some time to kill. Oh, let me know in the comments section what you think. But this mod has truly been a pain in the ass. So download it yourself and watch your mental fortitude? Sure. Just watch your mind go to hell. That's pretty much it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this recap, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.